You're now listening to the Open Africa podcast with Laolu, Nosa, and Furo. On this episode, we will revisit Laolu's predictions for 2023. We'll see if anybody feels led to predict again, considering how right the prediction was and how bad it is for everyone. And also discuss Wasoko and Max AB, some additional, again, layoffs, the definition of layoffs, and then the new CBN crypto circular in Nigeria.
Can I just say to everyone that I'm sorry, and it's not really my fault, but... Yes. No, sir, we have started.
Leave that in the episode.
I promise you it's going to be in there so people can see what I deal with every time we have to record. But yeah, if you are wondering what the predictions were, you'll hear it now. Do you know my own prediction for this year? Dollar at 1,400. You people will suffer in this country. Here we are begging you to do the right thing.
Are you not here with us?
I say you will all suffer except me because my God will deliver me. All of you are going to poverty. If you were not poor before, you'll be poor this year.
Do you think startups are factored in election in their plans for the year?
If not, then they are in trouble because they are going to sack everybody in their companies too.
How?
It is the year of suffering.
And as Laolu predicted, dollar hit 2,400.
Well, in my defense, it hasn't hit 1,400. It's like on 1-2.
It did one day and I came back down or something like that. I'm pretty sure I hit it and come back down.
Hey.
I changed dollars.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it hit. But what Laolu failed to understand and I tried to point out is that he's in Nigeria with us.
I'm seeing it too.
So
today I tried to order from food court. I saw price and I ran away.
And they went to child deck and
I still saw price again on child. In fact, that child deck one is very interesting because it sort of sparked conversation on the internet
about their pricing strategy for delivery, right?
Yes, it sparked a very big conversation, and now Nosa is taking notes. I'm worried.
Oh God. Okay, moving on. So we're now living in an economy that dollar is 1-2 on a good day.
This episode is coming out on Christmas Day. Can we please add some good cheer to it, please?
Good cheer. We really releasing this on Christmas Day.
It's coming out on Christmas Day. That's when it's coming out.
Oh God. Anyways, so that was that. And obviously, I think everybody's feeling the impact. Investors are feeling the impact. Founders are feeling the impact because for investors, it means that it's take a lot longer.
Multi-dimensional shiggy.
And founders will have to do a lot more magic to give you any decent returns in USD because they have to triple their efforts.
Tragedy.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on from that, does anybody want to predict for 2024?
Don't point at me. I'm not saying anything. Clearly, I can't be trusted to help the economy with my words. So I'm just gonna keep quiet here and leave it to Nosa to predict. You didn't predict for this year. Please predict for 2024.
Nosa is silent. He's mute on this. I don't generally predict because no.
The problem with predicting is that if I say what's really in my mind, it won't be good vibes, but then it will probably be true. And I don't want to be that person again. Prophet of Doom is not really sweet like that.
It's not.
Okay, I'll predict.
Oh God.
Next year, transfers will flip cards as predominant method of merchant payment.
Okay.
Next year, I also think people will move, especially for merchant acquiring, more businesses will move away from POS terminals to something else around transfers for merchant payments because it will be cheaper and more sustainable in the long run.
And faster.
Because as dollar keeps going high, the cost of importing POS terminals will also go high. So people will look towards other things as alternative payment method. That's one prediction. Another prediction is there will be a bunch of startups that have failed this year that will announce that they failed next year. So the failure will actually happen this year. It just hasn't been announced yet. So there'll be a lot of them that will fail next year. We've already seen a lot of people closing down this year. So I don't want to say there'll be more mergers and acquisitions.
I was going to ask.
I would say for businesses that have raised VC funding, like proper VC funding, there might be up for sale or proper acquisitions, or at least they'll be shedding some of the businesses to other people. For guys that didn't raise institutional VC, it will be a lot difficult for them to find buyers because of lacking network. So those businesses quietly shut down. More people will try to localize their costs as dollar goes up.
If you haven't already done that, good luck.
It has started this year, but more people will properly announce it in the form of laying off international staff or switching to local providers for certain things. So you see, I suspect you see a lot more Verve adoption than Visa and MasterCard. So I think it will be a good year for InterSwitch in that regard as people localize.
Thank you,
so
Pastor.
The one good news is that there's more business for InterSwitch.
For InterSwitch.
That's a really positive thing. No, but I think this will be a good segue into the Max AB Wasoko conversation in light of mergers and acquisitions that we might see going forward. So they recently announced that they're potentially exploring a merger. And for those that don't know, Max AB and Wasoko are players in the African B2B e-commerce space. And they're discussing this merger due to financial challenges and market pressures that they experience.
Sorry, you said they are discussing, so they've not done it.
They've tentatively done it, but it's not officially confirmed.
Yeah.
So why did they announce it?
To announce that they are
Putting
going
it
to
out
do
into the universe.
people do announce things. Again, it's just signaling.
Yeah. By the time they signal, they see if investors will come since they're combining forces. Anyways, so...
in the same period as they are merging, another B2B e-commerce person, Market Force, they haven't shut down, but they are facing litigation from one of their providers or one of their suppliers that they haven't paid. So again, that space is consolidating.
I feel like these days things are so hard that normal me, I want to insert a joke or something, but
that beat would be one. Perhaps we should reference one of our old episodes where we actually broke down the value chain, and I think one of the things that we're saying there was that this thing is being subsidized by VC capital. I don't know that by itself, especially the models that the guys in Nigeria are operating. I don't know that thing ever becomes profitable by itself. Maybe at like mass scale and like super efficient operations, maybe.
Yeah, so but speaking of what I said about mergers next year, and being VC funded, Wasoko and Max AB have been invested in by
they have same investors.
Yeah, they have same investors, prominent investors. So that kind of a link is an easy deal to do.
Yeah.
Because the guy's just consolidating. but a similar company that will be competing with them in that space, maybe in Nigeria, without the same depth of connections, will feel struggles. Oh yeah, one more prediction. A lot of the traditional agency banking players will either die out or will sell.
Man.
The margins have been crushed in that business, and they don't have the capacity to pivot into traditional merchant acquiring. So essentially OPay and PalmPay and MoneyPoint will force most of them out. Some of them will be resilient and stay, like Paga. But the others, the more traditional guys, will wind down or sell.
I actually have to give to Paga. They're like the longest players, like they've been in the game the longest, and they just keep getting things done. Competition keeps coming and trying to take, cuts from them. But
Paga has survived because they have first mover moat. And they have an established cash because they've done lots of development finance type work. And I think that's gotten them a good northern base that I don't think the other guys have quite entered yet.
Fair enough.
But at the same time, it is a steady business in the sense that they haven't raised enough VC money that required them to aggressively grow. So they've been steady and profitable for a while, and they just never did more than their power. But at the same time, that's why it has been easy for these other guys to pass them up.
Chance to enter, yeah.
But it's also the reason why they don't necessarily have to die. They just need like their existing active base to just keep being active rather than acquiring new and competing with the guys.
I just saw here that Wasoko closed the $125 million funding round last year.
Yeah, and Max AB has raised over $100 million.
Well, good luck to them.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, $125 million.
So in e-commerce,
as in American.
Yes.
Yes, it's a very capital intensive.
Yeah,
business.
e-commerce is extremely. Like, I don't even want to imagine like sort of inventory that they have.
Yeah, it's a very capital.
That's where a lot of the
business.
money will go.
So,
and if your inventory days are long, then you're screwed. Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't really even go and find safety outside of fintech.
You can.
This economy.
You can go and do.
There is no.
You can go and do what we were discussing earlier. Enter garments. Selling.
Even that one, you'll be surprised. You'll be competing with Maka and these other Instagram vendors. That lady is operating in like a very niche space.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to layoffs. Chipper Cash announced some additional layoffs. There was also some news about layoffs at Sikariwise and Number, and that got founders a bit sensitive on Twitter. I understand that obviously their business has been talked about, but we'll just segue into the definition of a layoff.
ChatGPT believes that if you fire someone for anything like business related, where it's not like the person is not performing, it's just we're taking a different direction, or we're deading this department, that's a layoff. It doesn't matter whether they are 30 or
so
2.
I think it's essentially when roles become redundant.
And that happens every day.
Yeah, and that's typical. The standard behavior is not new. I think there's just in the startup bubble, there's an association with layoff, or there's when people hear layoff in the startup bubble.
It's such a negative connotation.
It's exciting, but in a negative way.
Yeah, there's negative connotation in the sense that markets are impacting, blah blah blah.
So
but
journalists like it.
But layoffs are standard procedure in business, and it's not just. I mean, there's like performance related firing, which is one thing. But layoffs in the sense that you change your strategy and you say you don't want to do a particular line of business, that is accepted. That is normal. The banks do it every time when they lay off contracts.
Literally all the time.
And they're trying to optimize their costs, or they're trying to change different directions. So I can see it. I saw a guy on LinkedIn that was laid off from Cowrywise. He was like an SEO specialist, and he in his post he mentioned that Cowrywise was changing their direction in terms of SEO and how they approached it, which is fair and it is valid. I mean, if that's their strategy,
it's their strategy. There's nothing anybody can do about it.
Let me just rephrase and say it's not like the journalists like it, but we report stuff like that because it's exciting.
It's not exciting. It's
in
news.
a negative way.
I think the founders are sensitive.
It gets people going.
The founders are sensitive because people have just come to associate layoffs with bad management.
Yeah.
And bad management at startups is what leads to layoff. But it's a restructuring, right? And it happens every time. What the startups did is that they grew quickly because of a particular strategy. And now when the funds are not the same and the numbers are not adding up, they've changed strategy. And that means some roles are redundant.
But it's not even that. It's also a thing where it doesn't even have to be that funds are tight. It could also just be that they've hit a different stage in the business and they need different set of skills.
Exactly.
And there's no space anywhere else to put those people. So it's like...
Because, Airbnb changed their strategy with regards to ads a while ago where they realized that their ad spend, it didn't make any marginal contribution to acquisition. So like they stopped running ads and they were still acquiring at the same rate. So there was like, might as well they already have enough brand power that they don't need to be running always on ads. So those people probably got laid off because there wasn't any need for ad buyers and all that kind of stuff anymore. It's a change in strategy, but again, like I said, people just have this negative connotation.
Yeah, and I think the founders are obviously sensitive because they feel like you're saying that their business is doing badly.
I feel like you're saying like they've done something wrong. By laying off people. But it is kind of what it is, because
it is what it is.
Because even Yinka from Number, when he complained, he shared like a screenshot of email he sent to staff, basically saying him and his co-founder have to approve all hires. And he used the example of if a driver is getting hired, he wants to have a say in it. I mean, that's not a bad thing per se, but it is a restructuring. It is a tightening of budget or tightening of the pants.
Or no, not necessarily. It could just be tightening of, you've seen that the talent that you're hiring is not up to standard because you've let go of the process. So you're taking that back.
And you're trying to get the culture back in.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't always have to be tied to money. It's just...
Layoffs do happen and you can't be sensitive about it. I guess...
They're sensitive because of how the perception.
It's really the perception.
But again, you have to have thick skin in this business, and I think perhaps people have been spoiled by the fawning that they get as startup people and startup founders. That they don't realize that
they've been rock stars for a very long time.
You've been superstars for a while. People have been looking up to you. Everybody calls you Egbon. But again, as somebody that worked in a bank and saw people insult my bank on things that I worked on every day, I can't die.
Or remember when we go and talk to graduate trainees and they will tell them what the work they've done, and they're just like, why don't we know about it? What are people really doing in that team? Like, it's what it is. Like,
you just have to have thick skin.
Somebody that has never worked anywhere before in his life will be telling you how to do your work.
Like, I mean, do you think when GT Bank was having issues, do you think Shegun is not human? And do you think Shegun wasn't feeling some way?
Exactly. When, like,
if the big companies are going to get this kind of attacks, you should expect to get the same type of attacks, because you have gone mainstream. You are not a small company anymore. I mean, you announce your raises to suggest that you're doing with the big boys.
Yeah.
And when you play with the big boys, you get the same level of insult
and scrutiny.
I mean,
I don't think anybody even gets the level of insult that like bank bros and
if Kuda has a 30 minutes, 1 minute that 30-minute downtime, Kuda is trending.
Yeah.
Like, people are insulting Kuda, people are calling Kuda scam.
But I think customers too are animation.
I mean, if you go into any reply on anything, if you read the replies, you think
any bank that has customers,
like any bank that has proper
replies,
customers,
it's not even just replies to their posts. You
even
see,
replies to other people
you
posts.
see a
They are
trending
linked-
topic.
Yeah, and
I
they'll be
just see
asking them.
at OPay, please refund me my
Yeah.
money.
Like,
Yeah. On LinkedIn, one guy took his complaints with my former employer to LinkedIn. They put up a post on
look,
LinkedIn.
if you look into replies, you think perhaps maybe this Kuda app has not come on
in 2 years.
in 2 years. No transfer has ever been completed.
You won't know that it's a
Nothing has
5-minute
been-
downtime.
and nothing has ever been successful. You won't know that it's an isolated incident. But it is what it is. You see it on PalmPay, you see it OPay, you see it MoneyPoint. You just have to have thick skin. There are people that make noise, and it should just be that. If even looking at even Tix people put wrong email address, and you see them shout, "Oh, I'm going to drag them that I didn't get my ticket." But when you tell the guy, "Oh, you put wrong email address," he's not going to come out and say, "I goofed." I mean, but I can't come out and to that customer and quote tweet and say, "You are wrong. Your email address is wrong." You just have to have thick skin if you want to do this
My
business.
own place, one customer sent a message to customer success, and before the babe could even reply, he had gone to Niger PR.
Yeah,
Like, bro, just relax. Like, let's even tell you that we don't know what we are doing first.
it is
before it starts escalating.
It is what it is, and I think more people in this industry, I guess, maybe founders are a bit more sensitive. But me, as a long time employee, I've just charged it to the game. I've been insulted big bank, I've been insulted small bank.
Like,
It's
those insults left, right. Anyways, moving on to the last thing. CBN crypto circular. Somebody made a comment that
actually no. Before we even move on, I want to talk about Chipper.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think they've done the big layoff.
Heavy.
Now they're shocking it with
This,
small.
I mean,
here
this
and
time, because if you look at it, if you go on the Chipper website, because they have pictures of their team, like the senior team. I don't know why they do that, but they do. And over the course of the year, it has been trimming. In this round, the COO is out. The salaries on international staff have been slashed, so everybody's taking a pay cut. I mean, one guy that worked in their revenue operations that they recently let go said they are on path to profitability. They reviewed contracts, blah 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 blah. I think
And
Chipper.
then they let him go after he did that. I mean, he left. Which one?
I mean, they let him go,
Okay.
but his announcement was that he put them on the path to profitability.
You guys should say what you really want to say.
No comment.
No, I mean, again, he was an international hire. I think for Chipper it's been a good but rough year for them. And I say good in the sense that they've actually done kind of work this year. Like they've tried to do things. At this time last year, they didn't have NIP. Fun fact.
So
They didn't have NIP, and they'd raised all that money. This year, they've done local transfers. You can now do transfer USD to USD between different people.
Sorry, when you say they didn't have NIP, you mean like direct connection to NIBS?
You couldn't transfer to banks. You could withdraw to an account in
Chipper
your name.
cash.
Yes, you could withdraw to an account in your name, but you couldn't like transfer to another bank. I know it shocked me too. Was easy, but it's something they got around this time last year. That was when they were finishing it up. They launched it this early this year. They got the USD account. They've done a lot of crypto, so like all their USD balances are consolidated into one balance. So you can use that balance to buy crypto. You can use that balance to buy USD. Like it's all USDC, USDT. I think they're just trying to do things that kind of make things work, or make the business work. Their international expansion, especially outside Nigeria at least, has calmed down or quietly gone down.
How is Chipper ID doing?
What are they doing?
How is Chipper?
How
How
is
is
it
Chipper?
doing? No, what's it called? Is it Chipper ID? The identity
thing.
play.
I mean, one of their customers was Payday, and we know. I mean, one of the people they shouted
Wow.
at was Payday, and we know where Payday is now. So I want to say it's not doing great, but it just looks like this year they've actually tried things.
This year they worked.
Yeah, like they actually earned salary this year. In other years might have just been
Which is ironic
on
because they
vibes.
down slashed
Yeah,
the salary this year.
Exactly. I think they're squeezing out a lot more from their guys than they used to. So it's a bit unfortunate that it coincides with money just running out. So I'll say that's another one I guess to look out for next year if they can figure it out. And I think they're going to be betting big on crypto because, to be fair, a lot of their money is a lot of the revenues on paper are crypto related revenues. So hopefully this new regulation plus the up market, a busy bull market, what they call it, is a good thing for them as they recover. But yeah, there are plans of a global. Yeah, it just is. They've had to slow down a bit, and not just cheaper too. What's it called, Keeper as well. Their POS business. They said the guy says they own it, but they've given it to Block. Essentially, they are moving the customers to Block. They've let go of a whole lot of people. So next year is going to be another interesting year for them. I think that now that they've moved out the payment product, they're back down to what they started with, which is bookkeeping. And I guess next year will just be them finding new product market fit.
Yeah, Keeper is actually an interesting one, and I'll tell you why. Like after, this is not topic to be discussed on the pod. Yeah, but speaking to the CBN's circular on crypto, it's fascinating actually that it took this long. I guess we were never going to get
But
this.
it's a new dispensation.
Yeah, I think that's what you're factoring.
It's a new
Yeah.
dispensation.
We were never going to get this if Emefiele remained. So new dispensation.
So the entire approach in the previous dispensation was very tight-fisted around anything related to FX. And so far, this new dispensation has been at least looser. So I think the crypto regulations were inevitably going to, as soon as they removed that banned list, the crypto one was the most inevitable one. Because as much as people talk about Web3, new money, it was really tied to FX. And the hope is that by liberalizing it a bit, they can attract some sort of inflows. But the regulations themselves are interesting. The eligible participants. So before I even start, basically, they said everything that was released previously is superseded. So all those blocking accounts for having crypto, blah, 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 all that is down the drain. It's not necessary anymore. But it introduces the new guidelines in terms of how banks can work with crypto companies. It restricts it to commercial and merchant banks, payment service providers. Those are the people that right now can offer services. So I think a lot of the fintechs and MFBs might be a bit tricky in terms of how they want to tap in directly. I guess indirectly they can get back their P2P volumes, which I'm sure everybody misses. But in terms of directly serving them, it might be a bit of a challenge because it's only commercial banks. So because the CBN is actually treating it as anybody that's doing, the people that can do settlement for them are people that can do FX, essentially.
Yeah.
So basically introduced a settlement account for exchanges. And this is where the purpose of this account is for people to collect Naira from people that are trying to buy crypto. But I do see something. I think you're only allowed to withdraw once a quarter or twice a quarter to go from crypto to fiat. I need to check again. I think it's twice
sure?
a quarter. Yeah, it's there like in the fine print, like very.
You know, I'm sure that people will be happy to at least not have to be running clandestine operations to do crypto.
Yeah, the good thing is
there's
that
not really
it's
not really freedom like that.
there's clarity. I mean, it's not freedom, but there's clarity in terms of what they want to be. It's not the Wild West, but in terms of what they want to be. So again, transfers from the Naira position of persons on the VASP platform into their bank account shall not be more than twice in a quarter. So you can only withdraw from, say, Binance to Naira account twice in a quarter. So basically, the banks are not supposed to give them special treatment. So CBN says that banks must charge any fees. So normally on big settlement accounts, they waive all these things like COT or stamp duty or whatnot. CBN is saying no, that the banks must charge the full fees. Also called if someone is drawing from, I'm going to use Binance as an example. If Binance is a registered VASP, which they are not, but if they are a registered virtual asset service provider,
VASP,
in Nigeria, it says it's only their bank account that you use to fund in that you can withdraw from. Settlement cycle is T+3.
So transactions today will be settled in 3 days.
Yes. Also called, Binance cannot use that settlement account as collateral for credit. You're not allowed to do FX, so you can't use the money that you've done in say I fund Binance with Naira. I can't use the money I funded Binance to withdraw to an outside account. Essentially, you can't you're trying to block people from using it for moving money out, which would be interesting to see how they monitor that. Again, you can only withdraw from your Binance account twice a quarter.
This is a hypothetical Binance.
Yeah, this is a hypothetical Binance because I don't want to be saying VASP every time. Also called, any account that gets withdrawing or depositing must have full KYC. So it must be a tier 3 account, BVN, NIN, etc. Transactions on Binance must be in Naira only. CBN says the banks and NIB should not create Nuban accounts. So the essential Binance can create Nuban accounts for their Naira customers. So it's a very...
Wait, they said they can't create...
Yeah, that's the bank.
If I use virtual accounts?
Yeah, if you use virtual account, essentially they're saying you should not allow that. So it explicitly says FIs and NIBs shall not allow the usage or creation of Nuban accounts by VASPs. A virtual account is a Nuban account.
Interesting. Yeah, virtual account is Nuban compliant.
So they're very strict regulations.
So they won't let you.
They're very strict regulations, but at least there's clarity in terms of what you can do. So the permissible activities. That the banks are allowed to open accounts for the VASP, for the Binances. They're allowed to provide settlement accounts and settlement services. They can act as channels for FX flows and trade and any other activity CBN specifies. You can do cash withdrawals on the account. You can do pay in checks.
And then you must always report every bloody thing that happens.
You must always report. CBN has to approve each account opening of a VASP. So if you want to open an account for Binance, CBN has to approve you opening an account for Binance. But yeah, it's at least there's clarity. So a lot of the guys that are doing crypto, if you want to do crypto seriously in Nigeria, it means the next step is that you have to get that license from the SEC before you can enter into any banking relationship. And even in those banking relationships, they are tightly monitored.
I think I've kind of lost my interest.
It's round one.
I think it's round one. It's a good start. It's not illegal, but it's a very, very monitored thing.
Yeah. And this speaks to local VASPs.
Yes.
What if I wanted to do like a Coinbase or something? Would they let Paystack? Would they let me like...
So in theory, yes. Right? In theory, a Paystack could, but it's not a question of. Actually, no.
I'm curious to see how compliance is going to interpret
I don't want to say in theory yes,
this
because when Paystack is onboarding a business, Paystack has to do KYC on the business.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's required is for that type of business is that they present a license. So for instance, if I'm trying to do a digital bank and I wanted to use Paystack, I have to show that I'm licensed for the activity that I want to do.
So
If a Coinbase approach Paystack, Coinbase will have to show that they are licensed. And to be licensed, you have to get a Nigerian license subject to these rules.
if I use my dollar, if I buy dollar from the parallel markets, load it in a DOM account, and then maybe go through Stripe to fund.
That was never blocked.
Well, fair.
So I couldn't find, for instance, I couldn't fund my Binance via card like in Naira.
Yeah.
But I could use a Naira card to fund Binance in dollars.
Got it. Round one.
Yeah, at least it's a foundation.
It's round one.
I wouldn't be excited if I was for everyone. At least it's good. I think the most prominent thing or the most relevant thing now is the P2P guys don't have to operate in the shadows anymore, since crypto is not banned activity per se.
After spending like a year hunting, deploying,
it will be interesting to see how the different platforms try
deploying resources to find who
to regain the trust of, because there are people that are fined for facilitating crypto transactions.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden
accounts were closed.
That's just gone.
New dispensation.
This place is a very funny place, is all I can say.
But for the actual crypto companies, I think this helps weed out riffraffs.
I think these guys launched something right after they announced the new FinCraft.
Quidax. Quidax did free deposits and withdrawals.
Yeah, immediately after the circular came out.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I saw the Njoku script guy. He posted a funny emoji in response to if I recall correctly, a tweet talking about like the new circular. And I found it like very interesting. Not sure that the regulation is what affected him in the first place. I think that was more just like.
I mean, it will still be hard, because essentially requiring a license to participate means it weeds out a lot of people, and they need to get into the bureaucracy of getting a license. They need to get to the compliance thing. So maybe guys
need to hire compliance.
Yeah, so maybe guys
season for compliance.
Guys like Yellow Card, Binance if they choose to do it. Even Coinbase, I feel like this is the kind of thing Coinbase likes to enter the market. They like clarity, so they can enter Nigeria based on this.
But it can go two ways. I think that CBN has opened up this opportunity. If this experiment, because I think it's an experiment for them, right? If it goes well, right, it would mean that they could loosen up things even more, right? If it doesn't, we might go back to the previous dispensation. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is from the perspective of the players. Some of them might not be quick to start changing their business model to accommodate this circular, because of, they don't know what ultimate direction the regulators are going to take.
Yeah. If I go and hustle for a license, you like stop me from doing many things. I then come into I now become a known entity to you. And then tomorrow, like, stuff shifts again. Yeah. That is even less favorable to me. I'll have shot myself in the foot.
Actually, I think I have a bit of a contrary thing. In the sense that as long as the SEC recognizes it, I don't think we'll ever go back to what it was before.
Fair.
I think what can happen is that the regulation itself can become tighter in terms of what you can do, or it can be a bit looser. But in terms of entrenching yourself as this is what is going to happen, because I think it was inevitable from the moment the SEC said crypto is an investment and we are regulating it. What was just left was, okay, how do they interact with the rest of the financial ecosystem. And now that the CBN has laid down the terms of interacting with banks, it's now what to now change is that you can't be as gung-ho as you used to be.
Yeah.
Right? You are no more in a gray area where you can do whatever it is you want. Now that you're regulated, you need to have certain things in place. So even like the thing you mentioned about compliance, you need to have those departments in place. You'll start getting audited more often.
Yeah. You do a lot more regulatory reporting.
Do a lot more regulatory reporting.
You now have regulatory engagement.
Yeah, you now essentially have to be adults.
Yes, you have to be responsible.
So that's why I said the likes of like Yellow Card, Luno, even Coinbase, they will like this because they are more mature, run by older type people.
Yeah.
But for the young, gingered guys, fintech type guys, it might be a struggle. Even finding your way to the SEC door for that registration is one struggle.
Yeah. The one that I don't think it'll be is that it'll ever get looser. I don't think we typically move that way.
Why I think it will get looser is because there's still some things that you don't have clarity on, right? Things like even transferring cryptocurrency off platform. That is kind of because it's no more
blockchain P2P.
Yeah.
They have no insights into that.
No, exactly. They have no insights into that. But things like, the person is only allowed to do 2 withdrawals in a quarter.
Oh, yeah.
If I withdraw once from Binance, if I've done my 2 with Binance, I can just wire to Luno and do my 2 with Luno.
Gas fees. And we all know how that is.
I mean, no, now Binance will cover your gas fees. So how they want to, because essentially they have put a gate on the side, the fiat side of things, but they have no control over what happens on the crypto side of things. Even the thing about, you shouldn't move it outside to foreign account. I can send it wherever, I'd exchange it forever.
I guess that's that responsibility. They will pack it.
They'll pack it at the SEC. Yeah, exactly.
They'll pack it with the VASP itself. You have the responsibility now to monitor and enforce these things, and they'll probably add it to some reporting and say, I want to see all your activities. Who owns this?
Because in something like in Canada, they have something called the travel rule, where you must know the sender, you must have KYC of the sender. So if I send you 2 Bitcoin, the platform that
is receiving
must know me.
Yeah.
And me, the platform that is sending, must send that information if you want to do crypto business in Canada.
Yeah.
So it's it's fine, but if you do it so I think we'll get, with time, there'll be more, maybe it won't be looser, but it'll be a lot more defined.
Yeah, I can agree to that, but I don't ever see the CBN ever loosening their grip on.
Yeah, the man, the thing like 2 withdrawals.
They'll define it more for you.
The 2 withdrawals, they might increase it, for instance.
Yeah. Calm. Yeah, been a very interesting year. We refrained from prophecies and predictions. I refrained from prophecies and predictions.
Please, why are you sounding like pastor?
Should I tell you?
Because it was prophecy. It was not prediction.
Let me just say, the thing with prediction and prophecy, at least personally from my own angle, even when we are doing strategy, I don't do strategy for the next year that I haven't started in this year. So I can control my outcome. So I don't predict
what you have not already seen.
What I've not already seen. That maybe the company shut down December, they will announce in 2024. There's no
oh God. But yeah, shout out to a couple of folks in our community.
Our meanest G's.
I saw the community wrap, and it was fascinating, the number of people that were, top 1% podcast listeners for them. Some notable names that I'm fairly certain that I'm going to butcher. But I apologize in advance. Guys like Ewoma, who carries the podcast on his head across the internet. All our listeners should be like Ewoma. Kole, Busola, Moyo, Fawaz, another Busola. This one with the handle that has the H in it. Basil, Delake, Delake. Not sure what this is, but your handle is like DHELLAKE. Ayowali247. I presume your real name is Ayowali, but that 247 just seems cool to mention.
He's available 247. Sorry.
Stop that, bro.
He's available.
Tolu Gray, Toyosi AE, Donaldson Okoye, and like everyone else in the Telegram community and like our listeners. Shout out to you guys.
Yes, and like Laolu said, we now have a Telegram community.
Oh yeah.
The link to join
is on our socials. We'll push it again.
We just semi-premium gist. The premium gist channel has not been opened yet. Coming soon.
Adidayo and Sam, not really mentioning you guys because as far as I'm concerned, Loki, you are hosts in this podcast. You just don't record. But shout out to you guys as well.
Yeah. And then shout out to our team.
Yeah. Ebube, Pelumi, Dolakbo, Agogo.
Yes.
I got that all. One try.
Yes. It's the guys that help us behind the scenes to do quite a bit of research and also handle socials. So they do research and handle socials for us. So shout out to the team and looking forward to another year of the Open Africa podcast.
Yeah. And just to end, we're still looking for ad partners. This episode was, for example, sponsored by us. You know, that's how we'll say it. And then you will then put a short description of what you do and how people can find you. And we have a decent base now of high quality listeners. So, yeah, hit us up.
I think people that do B2B business, I feel like you should advertise. People that do B2B business should advertise on this thing.
Yeah.
Because we usually have lots of decision makers that are listeners.
Actually, yes, it is an incredible number of decision makers, like technology decision makers, even within like big companies, real enterprises. Listen.
B2C people shouldn't. But if you want to waste your money, you are welcome. But it's not with us that you're going to get.
Don't discourage money.
I've never seen this type of thing before. I don't even understand.
I'm being very honest.
Keep your honesty to yourself. I beg you.
The B2C too, we have C. The decision makers.
Can you imagine?
Customers.
Please,
you're looking
B2C,
for
I beg you in the name of God.
Want to do private banking for premium customers? We have them. They are listeners.
Anyway, all of you that sell APIs to fintechs, embedded finance, you should advertise here.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
See you in 2020.
Just cut that part. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you in 2024. Bye.